Hello, this is Eugenia with Radiant Warrior Living. I'm a professional coach and I work with professional women to help them connect with who they are and find their voice. If you are interested to find out how I work and what I do, please go to my website or you can reach out in the contacts and I'll be happy to to talk to you. I have different programs as well as I do sort of discovery sessions, and I do workshops in the Toronto area, and down the road we'll be doing some other work. So please reach out and I'll be happy to explain to you how I work and help you out. So today the topic of my video is around releasing yourself from stress and worry. I find that a lot of my clients and a lot of women that I see in the workplace, being sort of juggling different responsibilities. Sometimes it's motherhood and a career. Sometimes it's work and other volunteer opportunities and other things, and wanting to do different types of things in your life, including sort of travel and sometimes taking up hobbies or potentially growing a business on the side. There's a lot of pressure that is created from the outside and is also created internally to perform and to be the best at what you do and also keep up with the rest of the world. There's so much stuff going on around us, and we're constantly pressured by the energies and everything around us. We are a culture in the Western world that is definitely performance-based and numbers-based and results-oriented, and all of these things are great and wonderful if you use them in balance. And if you're constantly trying to catch up and keep up, it's really, really hard. The internal pressure and the external pressure together can create a lot of anxiety and stress and worry, and also the feeling of not being good enough. So that's why today I think it's important to talk about what are some of the ways that one can release themselves from the stress and worry, and also find a way to to be productive, to feel good about your life, to be in the flow, but also enjoy today, enjoy now, and also allow yourself to just relax and sometimes not do much. So one of the ways I find that is important is understanding and really catching yourself when you are stressed and worried. What is that feeling that you have in your body when you are stressed and worried? Are you feeling the tension in your stomach? Where are you feeling it in your shoulders? So it's actually creating that awareness and connecting with it. And the first thing that really helps is saying to yourself, stop, just take a break. Allowing yourself to just not exaggerate that feeling, but also not try to get rid of it instantly. It's more about noticing, what does that stress and pressure feel like in your body? And then finding a way of whatever it is that you can do to release that, or at least to slow down in that moment, to allow yourself to just notice and be with that feeling and acknowledge it without judging it. The second thing is allowing yourself the pauses in the different parts of your day, because when you're able to pause, you're able to catch yourself and to also give yourself a little bit of space to notice, to be. So creating the pauses in your life, creating moments when you can slow down, even if it's just for a couple of minutes, will allow you to notice more around what your day is like, or what you're doing, and how the external circumstances are affecting you. When you're able to notice that and give yourself a pause, give yourself a moment to slow down, you'll feel more connected to who you are, and you'll feel more connected to that moment in particular. It will also allow you to notice the good things. I find that when we are able to stop and acknowledge something, whether it's a good or a bad thing, we're able to be in that present moment versus being sort of thinking about the past or thinking about the future, and just allow ourselves to be in that moment. The space is something that I've been practicing a lot, and I've also been talking to my clients about, because the spaces in our day allow the opportunity to really create the moment of just being, of noticing, and maybe connecting to something, or maybe just being. And when you are creating the spaces in your day, like I said, for a minute or two or 5 or 10, whatever they are, it will allow you to also have a little bit more relaxation or flow sprinkled in throughout your day, which is very, very important. When you give yourself the space, you're not caught up in the rush and the pressure that exists outside of you. Also, one of the things that might work is when you are feeling like a little bit stressed and pressured or rushed, and you catch yourself in that moment, it's bringing everything back into your body and bringing everything back to your center, to you, versus kind of trying to catch up to something that's outside of you. And it's something that could be a physical sensation where you think about something in your solar plexus, and you bring your breath in, or you bring your awareness and notice what is it that you're feeling and outside of you, and just creating that connection with the breath, with the physical sensation of rubbing your palms or stomping your feet, something that allows you to create the physical awareness of where you're at in the moment. And it allows you to bring everything back to you. And then you can start breathing, or you can move. When we feel stressed and pressured, being able to move actually is an amazing thing, because the energy that and the tension that is created by the pressure can be released through movement, whether it's even running in place, or moving your hands, or doing something, turning around and doing something to move the energy, also allows you to come back to yourself. What I find also works is being able to use your hands, to do something with your hands, because the brain has a very strong connection with the hands, so it allows you to bring it back to the physical movement. So making something with your hands, whether you do something that is creative, or washing dishes. For some people, there's definitely a connection to being able to release that stress and get yourself busy with your hands, or working in the garden, or doing cleaning. I find for some people it's a huge stress reliever and a huge tension release when you're able to clean, sweep, or do something with your hands. So doing something physical is definitely helpful. Or going obviously outside for a walk and doing something like that allows you to reconnect to something within yourself that is not part of that stressful environment. So allowing yourself to slow down and to really notice and create the awareness of when you are feeling stressed and overwhelmed, and being able to really say to yourself that I'm not going to be able to keep up with the pressure outside of me, and it's not good for me. So it's noticing and allowing yourself to have that space to be able to step back, and just like when you're in a crowd of people and people are just moving and that crowd is moving, it's really hard to get out of it. So it's allowing yourself the space to step outside of that crowd, to step outside of that pressure and the hectic energy that it creates, and giving yourself that pause and ability to slow down. And really simplifying our life and moving from the complex to the simple is one of the ways to also release and step away from pressure. I've been really contemplating the simplifying your life idea. It's something that has come to me many, many years ago, and it's always been in the back of my mind. If you look at people who are sort of really centered and connected to who they are, and have just that lightness of being, just that presence with what is, if you look at their life, a lot of them have quite a simple life, or at least they focus on the simple things, and they try not to bog themselves down with too much pressure, too many thoughts, too many things to do. So it's creating that simplicity. Maybe it's not possible to do it all the time, But in the times when you feel that life has a lot of pressure and tension and stress, it's simplifying things for yourself. So thinking of the most necessary things that you need to focus on and to do, and leaving the rest. So, what are some of the essentials? And simplifying to the point where you separate what's important and what's not. When we're able to notice how complex our life is and leave some of the things that are not important behind, especially in the times when we feel pressure and we feel stressed and anxious, we'll be able to let ourselves have the space and the energy to focus on the essential and to leave the rest, so that we can actually allow ourselves to relax and not feel rushed and pressured by the outside world. So it's about your judgment of what's important and what's not, what's essential and what's not, and going sort of towards the simple, towards simplifying your life versus adding more to your plate. So if you think about, what are some of the things in those moments or in the times when you have a lot going on that you can maybe unload off your plate versus putting on more. And the world is built today on praising people who are really busy, who are overachievers. But, if it is not good for you, then it's not for you. So how is it that you can move from the complex to the simple in your life and only take the essential with you and focus on the essential things in a physical, spiritual, in every sense of the word, so that you can leave the energy and the space for you to be present and to give yourself time to relax and to not stress and to not be caught up in the rush of whatever is going on. So I'm hoping that these tips are helpful. Again, moving from the complex to the simple, leaving the unnecessary, sort of taking the essential with you, especially in the moments that you feel stressed and overwhelmed, bringing the physical sensation of that sort of the stress into your body versus having it outside of you, and allowing yourself to feel and to release that stress with doing things that will allow you to let that tension go, whether it's physical exercise, whether it's physical movement, or doing something with your hands. And really allowing yourself to have that awareness and understanding that stress and pressure from outside and from the inside, can create a lot of pressure for you. So releasing that, disconnecting yourself from the outside pressure first, and then noticing that internal pressure that you put on yourself, and understanding how much of it is something that's been put into you and been conditioned into you, and has been put on you as far as kind of to make you feel like you're enough, and understanding that and asking yourself, how true are these thoughts of, if you're an overachiever, that you're good, and if you don't do as much, that you're not good. How true are these thoughts? Are they actually true, or are they limiting beliefs that have been created in your life by the people who have been in your life as guardians, as parents, as teachers, and have had an influence on your life? So wishing you a wonderful day. Thank you very much for watching, and please share the tips and what you do to help yourself release the pressure and the stress that you feel from outside, and that sometimes we create inside ourselves. Thank you again. Have a wonderful day.